It's me, Zombie, and I just saw Spider-Man Far From Home. Now I've got a Peter tingle. Hey guys, it's me, Zombie. Hey, I just want to thank you for sharing some of your limited time on this earth to watch me. It's your attention that keeps me going, so thank you. I just saw Spider-Man Far From Home. That's the sequel to Homecoming, and it's really the sequel to Endgame. So if you didn't see Endgame, don't watch this movie. It's full of spoilers. If you want a movie to start off your summer right, I would say this would definitely be a candidate. I enjoyed it. I'd say it was a pretty great movie for what it is, and what it is a comedy with some action in between the laughs. Almost the whole cast is back. You have your Tom Holland, your Zendaya, Marissa Tomei, and on and on and on and on. All the classmates are back. You have your Ned if you are looking forward to him.
Awesome.
The main newcomer that you're gonna find in this is Jake Gyllenhaal. He's Mysterio, and then you have this beautiful beast of a man, Newman Akar. I don't know where you find a face like that, but we need more. So the basic premise is that Spidey, he's going to Europe on some science field trip, and these massive elemental beasts, they're attacking everything all over the world. The only one who seems to know what's going on is this mysterious new dude named Mysterio! With everyone else busy, Nick Fury, he calls on the only Avenger he can find, Spidey. Spider-Man! Spider-Man! So the movie, it's directed by some dude who directed some horror movie, Clown. It's on Netflix. And then it's written by mostly this guy, Chris McKenna, and this other dude, Eric Sommers. They're both comedy writers or something. And then they do some kind of superhero stuff. I don't know.
The name you're looking for is John Watts. He was the director for Spider-Man Homecoming, and those writers, the things they worked on, extend to both the community and American Dad.
So the visuals in this movie, they're really smart visuals. All the lighting, it came from somewhere. Things were actually lighting the characters.
I think you mean motivated lighting.
Okay, we'll use motivated lighting as the term if it makes you feel better. Anyway, all the lighting came from somewhere. If you need a red light, you have a red light source. Most of it's more flatter and desaturated colors, setting the shots into a real world, almost like a documentary. But being a Marvel movie, they do need those shots where they have those high color saturated things. And in those scenes, all of it is motivated lighting. See? I know terms too.
Good job, Zombie. It's almost as if I literally just told you that term.
So in order to get like orange and blue, there might be a fire. And then to get blue, they'll have moonlight coming in from the window. And it's motivated. It's nice. For the shots where people are talking, they do nice crop-ins. It's intimate. It's well framed. Intimate shots. Long shots that really show off the beauty of some of the city scenes. So like the movie goes everywhere all over the world. And you actually get that experience of going to Europe. For those of us who don't have the money to go to Europe. Overall, for the visuals, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 because I'm just a sucker for that motivated lighting. And though I love high contrast, vibrant colors, all too often it has no direction. And this has that, so I'm going to give it there. And then also I think that the shots are directed in ways that show the action in appropriate ways. You're very rarely guessing, what's going on here? There's no way that you can watch a blockbuster from Disney Marvel and not talk about the effects. And they chose some of the hardest simulations that you can get on screen. They have water and fire and lava. All really hard to do right. And though there are some moments where a keen eye, like mine, can catch a couple of the mismatches, can catch some bad CG, the story actually covers it up. I'm not going to tell you how, but it does. So you can argue that that bad CG is on purpose. The action shots in the movie have a nice blend between action in CG, so you actually have real life actors acting in front of a green screen, and then they cut in the CG for the things that the actors can't do, and it makes it so that there's a little bit of CG weightless moments. They don't feel unsettling. You believe them. Only if you're looking really close can you see the CG, except for scenes where it's kind of okay to write it off. So I think that they did a nice money-saving thing with this movie. Not to mention they changed his costume a couple of different times in the movie, and I think that they do that so that they don't have to do certain CG things. So overall for the effects, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10 Rotten Skulls, because there's some really larger-than-life scenes with 80-foot-tall elemental beasts crashing in through walls, and it's pretty believable. You'll watch it, and if you're not looking too closely, just enjoying the movie, it's like, yeah, that wall was just destroyed. There's some nice blends between CG and real life, and the effect colors, so they'll have like fire red, and then they'll have green glass coming at them, make for great contrast that make for good framing and shot. I mean, the only downside I would say to the effects is that you're able to catch some of the CG moments, and it's a bit of a letdown, even if you can argue it's on purpose. I mean, bad CG is bad CG. What you gonna do? As far as the acting's concerned, Tom Holland, he had some of those hard-hitting, leading man emotional scenes. And what's impressive is he never loses his New Yorker accent. You know, he never slips into, oh, I'm a Brit. Instead, he stays where he's supposed to. Happy is a lovable and believable father figure. Aunt May is the super hot version, which is kind of weird, but you accept it because why not? And the teenagers, they act like teens, which is the best part to me. You know, they're funny, they're awkward, and it feels real. You know, they're not just 30-year-olds being thrown in and being told to use Gen Z lingo. Lit fam? It actually feels like you're watching a bunch of 16-year-olds being 16.
Sup, dickwad?
It's weird. I actually like acting from kids. My life is a lie. Jake Gyllenhaal is that newcomer, and he fills the Mysterio role really well. He's endearing, he's scary, he's heroic, he's sympathetic. He's everything he needs to pull off this role. Zendaya, she makes MJ more relatable to a new group of young women, as she's this tough and sassy horror nerd who keeps up with Peter on all the smart things he talks about.
You look really pretty.
Therefore, I have value.
No, that's not right.
I'm messing with you. You look pretty too.
She's really a woman after my own heart. So, for the acting, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10 Rotten Skulls. I don't think anyone's gonna win an Oscar. There weren't scenes where, you know, you start crying or anything like that. But what they did do spectacularly well is they made me believe that they were actually teenagers. I actually liked kids acting. Nothing's real. So the story takes place shortly after Endgame, and it's full of spoilers. If you haven't watched Endgame, don't watch this movie. They actually explain why some teens are played by people in their 20s, and I just think that's smart storytelling. So the story has two major arcs. The minor one of Peter wanting to confess his love to MJ, and then the major arc of Peter needing to save the world and the lives of millions of people, while also juggling the fact that he's probably one of the most powerful Avengers left. I knew that the movie would have its comedic elements, and this did not disappoint. Every serious scene is short-lived, and pretty much every single one is broken with a joke, to the point where it might almost be trying too hard to be funny. It isn't full of gutbusters, but it definitely does not take itself seriously, and sometimes you kind of want it to, at least I want it to. I'm gonna try and keep this spoiler free, but I have got to say that in Tom Holland's Spider-Man's universe, I love the villains. In this one, Spider-Man, he faces a villain who is again sympathetic. He's a working class man who had something happen to him, and you know what? Fight the power. This movie is another example of the hero's journey. Every one of the main steps is there, from, what is it? Being in your homeland, then going off on an adventure, blah, 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 blah.
Zombie, don't you know anything you're supposed to. It goes cold to adventure, supernatural aid, threshold, he meets a mentor. There's the abyss, the death, and the rebirth. Atonement and the return.
Yeah, whatever he said. And, it makes for one of those possibly timeless tales. It does mean that none of the twists in the movie, they're going to come as any surprise. I saw everything coming pretty much before it happened. But you know what? Sometimes you get what you expect. And that's exactly what you want. You don't watch a slasher film and expect everyone to live to the end. So if you're going to watch Spider-Man, you want the hero to save the day. I give the story an 8 out of 10. It's well written and fun. I mean, there's nothing new or earth-shattering, but it's definitely a fun ride. Does it have a lot of jokes and comedy and all that? Yeah. Does it have action? Yeah. So, is it a summer blockbuster? Yeah. You get what you want. Overall, I give the movie an 8 out of 10 rotten skulls. It's definitely a nice summer release. It's filled with laughs and awkward awes, and it's a fun movie that gives you what you expect from Disney Marvel. It's a comedic, visually stunning blockbuster that's really hard to hate. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook at xmby.tv. Comment below your thoughts about the movie or your thoughts about my take on it. Let's get a discussion going. Recently, I was asked to make a Let's Play. They didn't tell me what kind of games to play, and I don't even know if it's a good idea. Tell me also below if you think I should make one. If I should, what games? Until next time, this has been me, Zombie, your favorite undead talking head. Make something creative. And if anyone tells you not to, eat the masses. Live creatively.
Be sure that if you watch the movie, you stay around for the post-credit scenes. There's 2. They do have some good spoilers for what's to come.